Welcome to solverfy.
Hello and welcome back to Numerod. My name is Kevin Sharrock. Let's take a look at this question here. So we have a company whose cost of production is 1 unit of product, being $328.50. So let's just sketch out our thoughts here. We have 1 unit that corresponds with $328.50. And then what else do we have? After taking some cost-cutting measures, the company was able to reduce the cost by $14.50. Okay, so we can say that this is maybe our cost, and then I have some kind of a reduction, and I reduced it by $14.50. And the question asks for, what is the percentage decreased of the cost? Okay, well, let's take a moment and see if we can diagram this out. Maybe we'll make this part equal to blue, and we'll make this part equal to green. So let's take my initial cost, and let's sketch it out here maybe as a rectangle. So I have $328.50 that goes along with this rectangle. And notice that this question is asking us about the cost and how we change the cost. So this 1 unit over here is not playing a role in our rectangle. It goes along with our rectangle, but the number 1 doesn't go along with our rectangle if our rectangle is about cost. Because what I'm then going to do is I'm going to try to reduce this cost, right? So I'm going to chop away at this rectangle, and the amount that I'm chopping away at this rectangle is this $14.50. Okay, well, perhaps we need some percentages to go along with it. How much was the full rectangle? The full rectangle was this 100%. And then we're trying to figure out the percent that's the reduction. So that goes in right here, this little p%. And so we can write over here to the side to keep track of things. P% is going to be equal to the percent reduction. Well, let's begin to set up some relationships here. Perhaps we will relate the numbers on the top with the numbers on the bottom. So that'd be $328.50. And maybe just for symmetry, this time I will keep the dollars on top. I can organize these fractions just about any way that I want, so long as I keep similar elements on the tops and bottoms of these fractions. So I can put the 100% on the bottom, and then I have a p% that's going to come down here. Okay, so let's begin to do some simplification, shall we? The first thing we can do is we could rewrite maybe this 100% as its decimal form, which would just be the number 1, right? You get a number 1 by moving this decimal point over 2 times. So 328.50 divided by 100% is just going to be 328.50 divided by 1, or the unchanged 328.50. On the left-hand side, you've got 1450 divided by p%. We're going to need to get that p% out of the bottom there, out of the denominator. So what could we do to cancel something on the denominator? We could multiply both sides by that value, because if you multiply things that are in the denominator, that causes them to cancel away. They're inverse operations. So I can write this on both sides, and then I could cancel away the p% from the top and bottom. That's going to leave me with, I'm running out a little bit of space here, so let me clear off some. So now we're trying to, let's see, where did we leave off? We left off with p% times 328.50 is equal to 1450. Well, now I just want to solve out for my p%. So let's do p%, and then maybe to cancel this multiplication, I will divide both sides. I'll divide both sides by this 328.50. Those are going to cancel away because multiplication and division cancel. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to be left with 1450 divided by 328. So that's going to be p% equals 1450 divided by 328.50. I could throw that into my calculator. And if I do that, I'm going to get 0.044 just about. 0.044. And I am rounding, so whenever I round, I like to change this equal sign into like a squiggly equal sign, like an approximately equal sign. All right, so then so if my p percentage is equal to 0.044, what's my percentage? Well, I could maybe make these look the same on both sides by changing this decimal expansion into a percentage expansion, right? I kind of want to see what p% equals not as a decimal, but as a percentage. So I do that by multiplying the right-hand side by 100, or you can think of it as moving this decimal place over to the right. So that's going to be then a value of 4.4%. Do you notice how now I have this percentage sign that's on both sides? That's really helpful because that helps me determine that P is the number 4.4, not the number 0.044. All right, so let's check up here. So our P percentage, we're now saying then, is going to be equal to 4.4%, because P is 4.4. And let's check and see whether or not that makes sense intuitively. If I'm looking for 4.4%, maybe I just think of that as being pretty close to 5%. And so we could do this big 5% of this big blue rectangle. So 5% of this $328.50 would be like doing 10%, which would be $32 just about, and then half of that, which would be about $16. So $16 somewhere close to this $14 that I'm hopeful for? Absolutely. So it seems like it passes the gut check that this 4.4% might be quite reasonable. So let's go ahead and box it and call it our final answer. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that video.